This is the American Dream, Dustin Rhodes, son of a plumber, daddy, and you're listening to the Bob Culture Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Bob Culture Podcast. We are very excited today to be talking about AEW, of course, All Elite Wrestling, and I am honored to be joined by the man, the myth, the legend from the Living the Gimmick podcast, Mr. Jon Alba. Jon, thanks for a few minutes. How are you, bro?
Oh, it's been a long day, man. A lot of driving, and it was a long day out there at the rally today, but it was fun, and I think I really do genuinely believe this. We're going to look back at January 8th, 2019 as a transformative day for wrestling in the United States.
Yeah, very, very well said. And of course, as Jon said, he's on the road right now. He's coming back from the press conference. He was there. I wish I could be there. You know, I'm up here in Jersey, you know, rocking and rolling, you know, doing the local music scene thing.
Man, I wish I could be doing that. I'm a little jealous on that front.
Yeah, that's right, man. You're a rocker too, man. But so what was overall? You know, I wish I could have been there. Obviously, what was the vibe at the press conference? You know, I heard a lot of interesting chants from the fans. Was it positive? How did you feel? What was the atmosphere like?
Extremely positive. Extremely positive. Extremely optimistic. The fans that were there, my guess is there were probably about 400 to 500 fans there, but an employee told me that they had 1,000 rally towels, and they got rid of all of them. Now, that doesn't mean there were 1,000 people there, but it's going to give you an indicator of roughly how many people were there. They were a bunch of fans who were excited for something new and excited for something that's promising some bold things, something, you know, I'm admittedly not sure they can deliver on, but they're certainly dreaming high and dreaming big, and there were surprises today, and, you know, all things considered, I'd say it was a pretty big day for this new upstart promotion.
Absolutely, man. Really well said, and you answered my next question already. I was like, oh, are they giving out any swag? But that's pretty cool, you know, no pun intended. It really sounds like they're all in on this one for sure.
They definitely are, and they're invested, and they really do genuinely care about their fans, I believe. And look, any venture is to make money. That is the bottom line of any company, is to make money. And make no mistake about it, that is a huge thing here. What separates them is they have a billionaire as their investor. As we found out Tuesday morning here, that Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, is the primary investor.
Yes.
And he's a legitimate billionaire. And that is so big. And there are more things in the works that they couldn't announce today, but Cody told us after the rally that they are very close to announcing, and kind of alluded to that being a television deal or a streaming deal, something along those lines. So I think we're going to continue to hear more and more, but the big thing that everyone's talking about out of that, obviously, is the surprise appearance of Chris Jericho. And Cody said that they could have announced other things, but he wanted fans to remember that big moment where this big wrestling veteran, one of the biggest names in the history of the industry, gave that proverbial rub to this young upstart promotion.
Yeah, man, and that was a cool moment I saw in the press conference. You know, a little bit of the pyrotechnics going off there, big pop for Jericho. That was epic for them, man, and I can see why they, you know, use that as like the big moment unveiling there. And, you know, obviously we've heard rumors about guys like JR, you know, Kenny Omega. I had done a poll recently on my Twitter, 170 votes. The poll ended 52% to 48% with Kenny going to AEW over WWE. So I'm sure they didn't, you know, let any information out on those topics or those specific guys. Any thoughts on your end where Kenny Omega would end up, or possibly there's been rumors about Jim Ross, anything like that? Just your personal thoughts on that?
Well, as far as JR goes, remember the very initial report was that the upstart promotion that Chris Jericho and JR were going to be involved. And guess what? Chris Jericho's involved here.
Yeah.
So say what you will about JR, I don't know what his plans are, how he wants to be involved with something. I do know that Billy Gunn is going to be an agent, a producer for them. So they're looking for guys who have wrestling experience to get involved with this, and better than Jim Ross when it comes to that front. So I would imagine they'll be involved in some capacity, especially with the WWE contract coming up, I believe, in March or April, one of the two.
Yeah.
As far as Kenny Omega goes, someone did ask Tony Khan, the president of AEW, about Kenny Omega. He declined to go into that. Kenny Omega's contract does not expire until January 31st. If you watch this past week being the Elite, they seem to make very clear that it's going to All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of people like to kind of hold on to hope. A lot of WWE fans, I should say, like to hold on to hope. But I think they made it pretty overwhelmingly clear that he's going to be signing to All Elite Wrestling based on their season. So I would imagine that will be the case, and then the question comes, what happens with Japan with him?
Yeah, totally, man. I 100% agree with everything you're saying. I think it's, almost painfully obvious that he would show up there. I'd be shocked if he didn't, and I like to be surprised. It'd be fun to see him pop in the Royal Rumble. Obviously, like you said, his contract doesn't expire till a few days after the Royal Rumble. But, never say never, but I think I 100%, have to go with what you're saying. Again, that being the Elite YouTube channel, you saw a little teaser for Kenny Omega, and plus it's part of their crew, As I said before, pun intended, they really are all in on this. I've met most of those guys. They're class acts. They seem to have good heads on their shoulders. They really seem to have this special connection with the fans. They really made something special with All In. Who knows how big it's going to be, how much it's going to succeed, but I feel like there's a good vibe, and I'm for it, man. I'm excited. I don't know. What are your feelings?
Well, we were talking to the Young Bucks afterwards, and they said that they would like to see this grow into something that they can take on the road on a full-time basis. We got the confirmation May 25th, Double or Nothing will be in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand.
Yes.
And then they also announced there will be another event in Jacksonville, which I would imagine will happen sometime late summer. And a portion of the proceedings will go to benefit gun violence and gun violent causes. And obviously there was that mass shooting in Jacksonville last year.
Yeah.
So Coach Khan mentioned that was a cause that was near and dear to him, and they want to do something nice. So that's a nice little thing. And hey, I mean, it's very evident that I said it before, this is a transformative moment here at pro wrestling. Comes when they have the proper resources to ensure that this goes a long way and that it's sustainable. Because there's a lot of talk, and there was a lot of talk at the press conference, and they didn't have answers to everything. So there are still question marks for sure.
Absolutely, man. And as you were saying to me earlier, before we got started, you mentioned you were running late because they pretty much signed for everybody, did a little meet and greet, which is really, really cool. Again, I feel like there's this very special connection with the fans. Cody had opened the press conference by kind of saying, wrestlers should be, paid more, and that's going to be something they address. Brandy came out and had said there will be equal pay for the women, which I think is totally cool, being married to a super feminist myself. And also, Cody had said, you have happy wrestlers, you're going to have happy fans. Well, what did you kind of get out of it?
Well, there were a lot of things that they were very ambitious about. And one of those being that they want to take care of wrestlers when it comes to pay. And they want to pay women equally as the men, which is great. And in theory, everything is great. Tony Khan confirmed to me that all top and full-time employees will get full-time benefits, and they'll be treated similarly to Jacksonville Jaguars senior executives.
Wow.
But then the question becomes, hey, what about talent? What about the rest of the talent? So there's been these calls for unions in pro wrestling, health insurance, benefits, etc. So I pressed on that, and Tony wouldn't really go into details. Cody and the Young Bucks confirmed that it would be
Wow.
Any injury that is suffered in an AEW ring is fully insured.
Wow. Really interesting stuff, man. We're getting the inside scoop here. Really good. Now, let's talk about the roster a little bit. Obviously, we have Cody, we have Brandy, we have the Young Bucks, Britt Baker, Hangman Page. And then we heard that they're bringing in from China. I don't know if you're familiar with this, I believe OWE. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, they mentioned that they've made a deal with OWE in China, which you're going to see a lot of like lucha-style wrestling in China.
Nice.
Which is really cool. And MJF was also there. Joey Janela was there. Penelope Ford was there too. So kind of just rounding out that talent core that was there today. Penelope Ford just won the WWE title last month, so clearly something changed on that front. So I just take it here. And that's where we are.
Yeah, dude, totally. And I was at a Boardwalk Beatdown over the summer in Atlantic City, and I got to see Janela perform. Penelope Ford, fantastic. I saw her do some crazy back handsprings, dodging a kendo stick, essentially. It was really, really cool. She's fantastic. MJF, very, very good. I actually passed him after his match, and I said, hey, great match, man. And he said, I know. And he was really rude to my friend. It was kind of awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. So he's going to be...
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I would love to interview him. I also would be terrified to interview him, but it sounds awesome. But it really sounds like they got a nice lineup here. And here's the fun part. Obviously, I think we'll see the villain Marty Scurll down the line. I would assume so. Any other kind of speculations or a wish list, if you will? Would anyone jump ship from WWE? I know there's contracts and all that kind of stuff. Or do you have any inside info, any speculation on that front?
I mean, I think as far as talent who might jump, the thing that's most important is if they're going to jump, they need to know that they're going to be taken care of financially.
Yeah.
A WWE contract, for a guy who's not on TV every week, they're on the road every week, they're wrestling at house shows, they're getting guarantees, they're making good money. And if you're going to leave because you're frustrated creatively or whatever it may be, you don't want to be on the road every single week, you got to make sure that you're still being taken care of financially. So I think that's what it's going to come down to. Now, I do know that there were several WWE talents who, in the past year and a half, after seeing what the Bucks, Cody, and all of them were doing, did nearly jump ship. But ultimately chose to stay. And who's to say that some of them might not decide when their contract comes back up and say, hey, I want to do something different. And, there's nothing wrong with that. WWE right now is the best position it's ever been in financially and in terms of talent. WWE has never had this depth of talent. So,
True.
If someone were to leave WWE, what right now what WWE doesn't have on its main roster is established stars. But that's not to say you don't have many in the waiting.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, these NXT guys, fantastic. They really, it's a different era now. I know they had said at the press conference today they want to make this the golden age of wrestling. Who knows what AEW will become? Maybe there'll be people are already talking about another Monday Night Wars. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here. People are excited.
Yeah, I don't think you should get too far ahead of yourself with that.
Mm-hmm.
For as much money as AEW does have behind it, it's great. This is still the juggernaut that is WWE ultimately. No other promotion has the global stranglehold that WWE does. And, WWE puts on a product geared towards a lot of kids, whereas AEW, I mean, you can see by the fan base today, that's not going to be geared at kids per se. That is not that this is AEW or anything, but the target audience is that hardcore pro wrestling. There's a lot out there. There certainly are a lot out there. What I got away from today is that today's a really good day for pro wrestling. It's a really good day. It's a good day for WWE too, because it means WWE is going to be pushed a little to step its game up, and I think it will. And I think that's a good thing for everyone. That is a good thing.
Wow, really, really, really well said, man. I'll let you go. I know you're on your way home, but we'll leave it at that. Real quick, we're all about the shameless promo here on the Bob Culture Podcast. Tell us a little bit about the Living the Gimmick podcast, where we can follow you. And now I know that Eisenberg's involved with you guys, Josh Eisenberg, who I'm a fan of. Tell us a little bit about the show, man.
Sure, yeah, Living the Gimmick every single Wednesday. Subscribe anywhere that you get your respective podcast, iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, wherever. Drops every single Wednesday. We have an absolutely loaded edition coming this week, as you would imagine. And it's a very entertaining spin on pro wrestling. And I think that if you enjoy this show, you probably will enjoy that as well, because there's a lot of pop culture integrated into that as well. And we aim to give you some real good content, and we've got exclusive interviews from this press event that you saw today that will be airing this week. We'll be talking about the Wrestle Kingdom card, all that happening in WWE. I was at Raw last night. I got a live report from there.
Nice.
And yeah, just plenty to come, man. And Josh Eisenberg, yes, from Chair Shot Reality, he's on board now, going through the eyes of Eisenberg. Josh is a very close personal friend, and I'm so happy to have him on board.
Awesome, man. Really cool. Yeah, and I've listened to a few episodes. You guys know your stuff. I'm a fan. An open invitation to either of you guys, both of you guys. If you ever want to jump on to one of our pay-per-view prediction panels, we always have, a few days before the Rumble. Open invitation. We'd love to have you anytime, man.
You hit me up, and I'll be there. I appreciate it.
Oh, you got it, man. Hey, John, thanks for the inside scoop. Thanks for a few minutes, man, and we'll talk to you soon. Living the Gimmick podcast. Check them out. Thanks again, John.
You got it.
Appreciate it. All right, guys. Up next, we have Mr. Bill Bodkin from thepopbreak.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, back here on the Bob Culture Podcast, and now I'm joined, of course, by a future first ballot Bob Culture Podcast Hall of Famer, of course, the editor-in-chief, the founder, the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Mr. Bill Bodkin. Bill, what's up, bro? How are you?
I'm not doing this for the money because I don't got any money.
That's right, man. And I heard that Bill is actually bringing in a surprise tag team partner tonight. Bill, who you got?
That's right, son. I'm bringing in my heater. I'm bringing in the heater.
Yes.
Man. I'm bringing in Kenny Pete, contributor to Pop Break, a good brother all around, who I often bum rides from when I go see wrestling around the greater New York, New Jersey independent region. Kenny and I once witnessed a riot at a Chikara show and a fat kid break a door at the Trocadero.
100% true. All of it. Every single word Bill Bodkin said, 100% true. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. What's up, Kenny? And welcome to the show. I'm thinking, every time I go to a wrestling show, I run into Bill, and I'm like, I may have met you, Kenny. Who knows?
I'm sure.
Definitely at NXT Tom's River.
Done. Yeah, I remember, which was one of the two of the best intros I ever had. Running into Bill Bodkin. Once I said hi to him at the NXT show, and you gave me just like this standing high five, like over the top thing, which was awesome. And then the second time, and then at the Pop Break party, you go to about my wife. She's the only reason anybody likes you, which Kate absolutely loved. So.
Very drunk at that show. Bob, I'll have to meet you when I'm not hammered.
No, it's great.
Guarantee that though, buddy.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like I said, future Hall of Famer for sure. So obviously today, I was just talking to Jon Alba from Living the Gimmick podcast. He was down, staying late. I guess I wanted to say Bullet Club, the Elite stayed and signed for everybody. I guess there was between 500 to 700 people there. They said they gave out 1,000 rally towels. And essentially they stayed and signed for everybody. So the media got pushed back, but we got a little tidbits there. Did you guys watch the press conference? And also what was the general consensus? They had a lot of promises. Do you guys think they can deliver on all this? Do you think this is the real deal?
Dude, I'll serve it up to my heater first if you want.
Yeah.
Actually, thank you. I watched the press conference, and I was also following along on Twitter at the same time. So I was sort of seeing a reaction to what was going on at the same time it was happening, so that was pretty cool. Generally, I think the whole thing is positive. I definitely feel that this is going to shake up the scene, and it's going to get it has a lot of eyes, it has a lot of buzz. They definitely have the backing and the support for all the things to do that they want to do. So, them being Cody and the Bucks and Brandy, because she's the chief Brandy officer, which I think is great.
Yeah, I love it.
I think it's really going to do well. I mean, they definitely. Right before the press conference, I did the roster. I looked at the all-in. The card. And I was like, okay, this person's under contract to this company, this person's not, this person's under contract here, that person's not. So I kind of had a gauge of what was going on. MJF, I thought MJF would be there. Britt Baker for sure. She was the only female in that four-way match that wasn't on contract to another company. SCU sort of came out late night, announced before they did it today, so that was something that was happening. Janela and Penelope Ford being not under contract, I was like, okay, they'll be out there. But it was great to see Pac.
I was a little surprised about Penelope Ford, given she was so heavily featured in that WWE tryout piece on .com.
That's the carrot, I think. I think people are. Lots of people are trying to get into the Penelope Ford business, so I think that she's popped up in Chikara a few times. She's been doing, like you say, she got the rub from the tryout. They maximized that. I'm surprised that if she didn't go to Evolve and do the Gabe thing, then this is where she would end up. So I think it's great. I think it'll work out. It'll work out for lots of the people there. They have enough of a crew now to get a lot of eyes on them, have the buzz, have the tracking. I think TV is definitely going to come soon. They have the star power and the backing to make it happen.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at it as press conferences go. I mean, I watched some of it Facebook Live through the Bucks Facebook page. Then I was able to stream the audio on Twitter as I drove home. So thank you, technology, for that. And thank you, Jeep, for making my car actually Bluetooth compatible. As press conferences go, they were someone says, this is about as carny as you can get, and I was like, welcome to anything having to do with wrestling.
Yep.
And so I liked it. I know there was a lot of people who were immediately crapping on this whole thing before it even started, and I feel like those people are just going to hate everything anyway. To me, it's more wrestling equals more good. I'm very excited to see what they're gonna do, and the fact that you already have given me a Pac Adam Page match, mission accomplished. Honestly,
yeah. And the battle of the shooting star press.
And the fact that Pac came out in gear, was the only guy in gear with his Dragon Gate title, and was just a savage on the mic. I'm just like, this is perfect. This is the guy that they wanted him at all in. They didn't get him, but this was the perfect get for them. And Jericho at the end, it's almost like you kind of forgot he was there. At one moment, it's just like, oh, by the way, hey, Chris Jericho. And I think that was a big surprise for a lot of people, because they all thought, well, he's WWE. He's really going to go there. But yeah, I think the big thing they have to really live up to, and I know, Kenny, you made sure you tagged AEW Wrestling on Twitter on it, was they're talking about the equal pay, they're talking about benefits for people, and if that's what they really are going to do, then that will change the business. If they don't live up to that promise, people are going to call foul, and they're going to shit on them before they even get out the gates. But I have a feeling, like Kenny said, they're good Christian boys, so I think they're going to make good. And when you make a promise like that, you can't just be like, well, I'm going to backtrack now because you're going to look like a douche, and you can't look like a douche before you even run your first legit show.
Really well said, and yeah, you pretty much answered my next question. Was they made a lot of these promises, as one will do at a big big time press conference like this, I was going to say, do you guys think that they'll deliver? Bill, it sounds like you do. Like you said, they're all good dudes, all classy guys. They seem to kind of want to have the fans involved heavily, which is something I'm excited about. Get some pop break interviews going over here. But
goddamn right, son.
That's right, man. But Kenny, do you think they could deliver on all these promises?
I feel like they're going to at least make the best effort they can to. If they fall short, they may not. I liked what Brandy said about equal pay for men and women, and when they say that, and they mean it. So that I appreciate that, and they're also saying that they're going to actively look for more female talent that's out there. I don't know if anybody caught Wrestling Observer Live, the recap afterwards, but there were a couple of spills on there. The Elite,
spill that tea, brother.
The couple of spills on there that I heard about. The Elite, All Elite Wrestling, were trying to grab Mayu Iwatani, I believe. I apologize if I butchered that name, but she's part of Odayo Tai, which is the lead Joshi faction in Stardom. They've come over for Ring of Honor a few times, and Stardom and Ring of Honor having a partnership means they technically need to be off of contract with those companies before they can be involved with All Elite. So they were trying to convince her to leave Stardom and go to All Elite. They also said they made a very strong overture to Piper Niven, a.k.a. Viper.
One of the best.
But she is apparently WWE bound. Breaking news.
Yeah, I've heard that for like 2 years though, and she went to World of Sport last year. But
that's finished. That's not going to happen.
No, they're touring this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
So I'm wondering.
Last I heard, that was not going to happen. Maybe just TV wasn't going to happen, but I could see the tour still happening without the TV deal. But
yeah, if they got Viper, that would be a huge coup. She is fantastic.
So the interesting thing about that is that if they're going to be looking for more, Japanese Joshi talent, the next company down would be Tokyo Joshi Pro, who are they air on DDT Universe.
Which is another Sendai Girls?
No, not Sendai Girls. Different company. Tokyo Joshi Pro. They're basically the Joshi arm of DDT. And they air on there. And Chikara actually brought 3 of their top stars over to King of Trios this year. They got to the finals and then lost to the Four Nations from Australia, I believe. But they were all excellent and definitely would flourish on the platform, in front of all of the the All Elite audience.
Interesting. Go ahead, Bill.
I think the OWE, congruent to that, OWE, which stands for, was it Oriental Wrestling Entertainment?
Yes, Oriental Wrestling Entertainment. I got a shout out on this one.
Yeah, definitely, man. Because Shima, formerly of Dragon Gate, as well as T-Hawk, I think they're going to be involved. And I saw them at Battle Los Angeles from PWG. Shima obviously has through his PWG days and Dragon Gate days, knows the Bucks very well. He was a huge Dragon Gate star who was basically brought in to run this company based in China, and they are going to blow your mind when they come to. This is the ECW, WCW bringing in cruiserweights to mainstream American wrestling in the mid '90s. This is going to change a lot of stuff. It's going to blow people's minds. Like, go follow Mr. Larietto on Twitter. He's got a lot of great gifs on OWE stuff. Rob, your mouth will drop to the ground. I know you're a big Mysterio fan.
Yes.
You will be floored by what you're seeing with this stuff.
Yeah, that's the kind of, me, I like that high-flying style. I'm very excited. I don't know what to expect.
There's an excellent Twitter follow is at Nuclear Convoy, and they have been writing about how awesome this company is for at least a year now that I've been aware of it. They could have been doing it beforehand, but they have 3 different articles out now about how awesome OWE is, how crazy the scene in China is, how it's basically a whole roster of young wrestlers that Shima's having do just flips off of everything, and it's nuts. If you're a Mysterio fan, like this whole company could be the next Mysterio. Like, there's so many. It's hard to put into words. I say, like Bill said, follow Lariato, follow at Nuclear Convoy.
I just
check that stuff out on Twitter. It will blow your mind. And the Matt Jackson saying that's going to be they're the most innovative high flyers, and they will do things that will leave you in wonder and amazement. He's not kidding. It's not hyperbole. These dudes are crazy, and it's the perfect fit for it's a perfect fit for exactly what the All Elite audience wants, which is probably like a souped-up mid-aughts Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and also he mentioned Strong Hearts. I know it's Shima and T-Hawk, but also in that group is Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier, who are right now on Impact Wrestling. I don't know what their contract situation is, but like those 2 dudes are legit, and it'd be cool if they got them over from Impact, but I don't know if they have a contract or what. But so if anyone has needs a frame of reference of like the style from an American version, names you might have heard of, those 2 guys are in there, and obviously very talented dudes.
Interesting. Really good stuff, guys. Let's have some fun.
All the flips, all the moves, all the flips, all the moves, all the flips, all the moves, and that's with Z's.
Yes. Always with the Z's, brother. That you know they're serious.
Let's have some fun with some speculation here. Obviously, they really are covering almost all of their bases here. We have some interesting new styles coming in. They have a lot of guys that I've seen on the indies, Joey Janelle, Penelope Ford. They're very lucky to have her. She's fantastic. MJF.
Joey Janela, who I did a shot with at a bar in Matawan a few months ago.
Oh, yeah? I would love to interview him. Yeah, for sure, man. That's cool. Yeah, who hails from Asbury Park, I believe, in his intro.
That's a shoot probably from Hazlitt, but okay.
Yeah, I did wonder that. But anyway, I digress. But let's have some fun with some speculation. Obviously, ever since they announced this new organization or federation, whatever you want to call it, people have been speculating people from WWE would jump ship to get more opportunities. There's been speculation, obviously, a lot about Kenny Omega. I just ran a poll with over 170 votes. Where is he going to end up? People are talking about
Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Smoky Mountain Rebirth, baby. Shout out to bringing it back to Wags.
Hey, there it is.
It's called Innovative Pro Wrestling now. I actually did some research. Innovative Pro is the company that took over from the ashes of the Smoky Mountains in Kingsport, Tennessee, and got it on very good authority that, hey, Kenny goes, he brings Ibushi with him, and then they slow down and learn how to do headlocks and tell a story for sure.
Thrill Seekers 2K. But I'll ask you guys a question because there was a very cryptic sort of tweet from Ty Dillinger went out today. Some people said it was his anniversary of being a wrestler, but man, if you read it, it sure as hell seems like he's like, bye, like I'm out. Or
that's interesting. What did it say? What did it say exactly? I mean, I know he's been having some tweets. Like I didn't see the recent stuff, but just over the past couple months, like, oh yeah, I used to be on TV and stuff like that. So this is the first I'm hearing of him tweeting today. That's very interesting.
I'll pull it up for you in un momento. Why don't you guys talk amongst yourselves and to fill the dead air?
Yeah, man, I'd like to hear that. That's actually very fascinating. You heard it first here from Bill Bodkin. But Kenny, anyone you think that would not even necessarily jump ship? If you have any of those, that would be great. Sometimes it's fun to speculate, but who else do you think would be involved with this promotion?
Well, I mean, if you look at the landscape now, there's a lot of money out there for a lot of people, and it's never been a better time to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Because once you get to that certain level where, all these people are getting signed, that just means it's more spots on the indies that are open for other people to step up and fill them. Like, there are so many excellent wrestlers that people haven't even heard of before that will be household names, or at least expand their profile on an independent level, because all these people won't be appearing in their smaller independents anymore. But, I mean, there's always a possibility to see guys like Matt Cross and Joey Ryan and Colt Cabana involved with this.
I would love to see Matt Cross get once that goddamn Lucha Underground contract lets up.
Is that our Phoenix and Pentagon locked in a contractual amount lock with those guys too?
Yeah, Meltzer tweeted that.
Okay, so they're off limits. I would love to see Aerostar from AAA be signed up there. He's been in AAA for far too long, and if he went independent, he would be the next guy to be what Pentagon or Phoenix is now.
Lucha Underground, unfortunately.
Still,
but I think he also kind of got screwed by because they tied him with Drago, and I like Drago, but Drago's limited because he's old. He's like in his 40s, and he got seriously banged up for a while, so they kept tagging those guys. So no one really ever gave Aerostar a shot as a solo dude.
But once they do, it will be on, and I just hope that happens. I'd love to see that happen. There are tons of Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. Hopefully, if he doesn't sign with Ring of Honor, I would love to see him get a shot.
We just saw him tear it down in Asbury Park.
Yeah, Tony Deppen. He had a heck of a match. So another guy who we also saw tear it down in Asbury Park would be one Orange Cassidy. And if what America needs right now is to get freshly squeezed, if you know what I'm saying. And Orange Cassidy is the guy to bring that style to the masses on a large scale. Would be over like Rover, as they say.
So here's the Ty Dillinger tweet. It says 17 years ago, I stepped into a ring for the very first time. There have been ups and downs. There have been ups and plenty of downs, but for those of you who stuck with me, thank you. Thank you for believing in me when others didn't, for being my voice when I was afraid to use my own. I enjoyed it all. So a lot of people are like, does he leave? Because he's tweeted stuff, and the Bucks have tweeted at him. They've tweeted at Ryder, who mysteriously has been showing up on TV a lot since that tweet.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? We got a place to ply your trade, So wouldn't be shocked to see one of those guys head over. I think it actually would be good if there was a bit of an exodus from WWE right now of some of these lower card guys or people just stuck in one situation. Then you could get guys from NXT who've been down there for a while, bring them up, and then you have that undercard of NXT that's been sitting there, some of them for years, finally to get a shot that they need. Now, do I think that'll happen? No, because I feel like WWE's going to they just got $5 billion worth of contracts from American TV. So they'll be like, hey, we'll just throw stupid money at you to stay. And I think some people will go.
Interesting.
I would love to see the Revival go. But because I feel like that's a match everyone wants to see, the Bucks and the Revival, because I think that feud would be hot, and you best be bringing that Tennessee two-stepping son of a bitch Jim Cornette in to manage the Revival, and that will be a print money feud between the Revival led by Jim Cornette and the Young Bucks. People will be shitting themselves to see that, because everyone knows Cornette and the Young Bucks don't get along, but you know what? Everyone can work together when it comes to big money. So,
very interesting. Good stuff, guys.
Yeah, if Jim Cornette showed up into All Elite Wrestling, he would immediately be the top heel in the company and would be the most relevant he's been since he was on WWF television in 1996.
I 1,000% agree. I'm looking at people who they could bring in.
It would be amazing.
It's interesting because I know some of the backstage people haven't been signed but are signed. Like BJ Whitmer's there, Billy Gunn,
QT Marshall is there. He's in the building.
He's
an all-wrestling producer.
Jersey Zone. I wonder how Tommy Dreamer fits into all of it, because he was a producer for All In. Tweeting about the Bucks doing well, and everyone seems to just generally like Tommy Dreamer. I mean, he produced I mean, in 1 week, he produced segments on Impact. He was on the Edge and Christian show, playing Alicia Fox's daughter, and in a Kill Bill parody. I mean, he was on MLW, and he's like talking about All In. So I mean, he can pretty much, I think, punch his own ticket to wherever he wants. I really look at some of these people who just signed to Impact who are probably like, shit, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Jordan Grace, Ethan Page, but I don't know. I feel like there's people in Europe that definitely. I would not be shocked to see someone like Jimmy Havoc from the UK end up over there. Ricky Shane Page,
CCK. I could see them signing CCK. Like those, as far as like British free agents that people have the buzz who aren't like connected someplace, I think CCK is top. Like Chris Brooks is going to be, I think, a top indie guy very soon.
Chris Brooks is a more wanky version of Lance Storm in a lot of ways, and I think he's definitely up there. And I'm just saying, from a female perspective, Kaylee Ray would be a huge get for them. Because she's fantastic, and there is a tremendous amount of female talent in the United States and in the UK who I think would just be tremendous to work with. I mean, I think Brandy Rhodes did some work with Pro Wrestling Eve in the UK. I mean, that scene is just filthy good right now, and I know she's done stuff around the US. Kimberly, I could see going there. The former Abby Lath. I'm blanking out some of the other females, and I apologize.
For sure.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot of female talent that could be picked up, no doubt. And I'm excited to see what they do with it, especially if they're like, we're taking women's wrestling seriously. I guess my big question, I guess with Kenny Omega, if you want to discuss that, I don't know how he doesn't go to All Elite. Like, how do you start your own promotion with when, like, your best friends start a promotion, you're like, nah, not going to do it. I mean, also probably a couple Milski will sway your mind, but some people are saying they heard from good, reliable sources, the same sources that confirmed Ronda last year, that Kenny is definitely headed for the Royal Rumble. But I don't know. I just don't see it.
But see, that would cost them a ton of money because they'd have to buy him out of his contract because he's not free until February 1st.
Yeah,
allegedly.
That's very true.
So I mean,
but they've already tampered with the contracts of a lot of people.
Sure. And do they? I mean, maybe nobody's going to call him on it until it's actually the All Elite people. So I mean, who knows? I mean, I just go back to when Cody, a couple weeks after Cody left, and after the list, he wrote like this long thing that some people really slammed him for, but like some people within WWE slammed him for. But one sentence he put in there that always stuck with me was that he always felt that he had the brass ring, but nowhere to cash it in because people just didn't take him seriously. So when I think about that sentence, I look at the WWE system with be it NXT, be it Raw or SmackDown. Who are those people who have, pockets full of brass rings who just can't cash them in? Cesaro?
Yeah.
Cassius Ohno?
Cesaro, just because his wife works there too, I feel like they're not gonna. I feel like Cesaro's gonna be a WWE lifer.
Sure. I mean, Dolph Ziggler, if he left WWE, like for everybody who just like is yelling at me now through their headphones or me even bringing that guy's name up because he's quote-unquote super boring, allegedly, the second he leaves WWE, he would be the hottest thing in the business. And if he showed up at All Elite or even a New Japan, would be a game changer for either one of those companies.
I agree. Dolph Ziggler, I'm kind of tired of the gimmick they pushed him into of, I'm not recognized enough. But it's just like, okay, like, cool, let's find something different for this guy. And I thought the stuff he was doing with McIntyre was interesting, but it's like, now I don't even know where he is. But he re-upped. I thought he re-upped recently, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with what you guys are saying, especially about the
He's
Ziggler.
getting paid enough. Oh, I'm sorry, Bob. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
He's getting paid enough to do these dopey comedy shows.
Yeah. You know who I'd like to see who just got released from his or just his contract expired with Impact Wrestling, who I think has been putting on some of his best matches, DJZ.
Agreed.
I think he'd be awesome in All Elite. I don't think we ever really saw how good DJZ can really be. And the thing about
on a national sketch, but he's been burning it down in Cleveland, Ohio for AIW.
He just
available via smartmarkvideo.com. He brought in Gringo Loco. He brought in Steve Payne a while ago. He's Lewis Linden. He's been having killer matches with all kinds of people doing crazy nutty flippy stuff. So DJZ is totally on that list. And also, who I thought you were going to say was Trevor Lee.
I think he's going to NXT. That's why.
Okay.
That's what everyone's saying he's going to head.
Part of that January class we keep hearing about?
Yep. I look at the one thing I think a lot of people forget with the Young Bucks, especially, they've been around forever, and they have a lot of friends, and they're going to cash. Those chips are going to be cashed, and I think that's a big draw too. This isn't like Ted Turner coming to you and saying, "Hey, brother, come over here." This is, in the wrestling world, this is Matt and Nick coming over and saying, "Hey, buddy, we're doing this cool thing now." And I thought what was cool, one thing I thought was really cool we didn't mention was the charity show they're doing in Jacksonville, which I think is like, they didn't even need to do that, and I think that's amazing that they're doing that. And the fact that with matches that wins and losses are going to matter, and people are like, "Whoa, they did that in Ring of Honor early days." Yeah.
Is that going to be like Dome Evolve was, where like they kept records and like long numbers and stuff? Scratch.
Yeah, and that's when Ring of Honor was super cool. So I mean, like, I think like all that stuff can really work. And Cody's like, he ain't no dummy. I mean, I think the Rhodes name is going to carry him over back to Uncle Ted land soon, because I think they're going to end up on the Turner Network.
That would be awesome.
Interesting. Yeah, we're excited to hear, if there's anything coming out with the TV deal, see how big this thing can really get. Obviously, we have the Double or Nothing show coming in, but another name we didn't really talk about, I'm asking everybody about this one, Jim Ross. They said Jericho and Jim Ross would be hypothetically involved with this. I know he has a contract with WWE possibly running out at the end of March, something like that. Where do you see
through WrestleMania probably?
Oh, okay. But I was going to say, where do you see? Well, first of all, do you guys see Jim Ross involved in this, and in what capacity? No.
I don't know.
I see him as more of an analyst than like the play-by-play guy. Like we need to have like the young gun, smooth-looking Mauro Ranallo type. Not exactly like his broadcast style, but you know what I mean. Like the young slick dude who I think is, I forget his name, Marvez, I think his name was. He co-hosted the press conference today with Hey, it's Conrad.
Oh, Brian Alvarez.
No. It was the actual press conference that happened in Jacksonville. It was Conrad and the other guy who.
Billy Marvez. I know Alex Marvez.
I think it's Alex Marvez. So
yeah, Jim Ross. I mean, we kind of saw a lot of the. I mean, I hate to say it, like I became a journalist because of Jim Ross, but like we saw kind of like the game kind of slowed down a little bit for him doing some of the New Japan calls weren't awesome. And I think, he is more of the analyst these days.
Okay.
For sure.
But you guys think...
But I also think he'll have way more of a production role in there, and like he'll have some sway in how stuff goes. And he's a hell of a talent scout and recruiter and molder. I mean, look at those Attitude Era stuff. Like Steve Austin goes to WWE a lot of ways because of Jim Ross, Mick Foley, Jim Ross. You know what I mean? Like he has pull. He knows talent.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you guys think that he would specifically be involved with this at some point in any capacity?
Yes. He's too smart. He's too valuable of an asset to an All Elite Wrestling to help sort of navigate the waters, whether it be on television or be a producer or talent or, I mean, it's one of those things, like, same thing with Mick Foley. Like, what's Mick Foley going to do? Like, he has the brain for wrestling, so he's going to work somewhere in wrestling. Like, Jim Ross is the same type of cat.
Yeah, so, Jim Ross is, I think he sees the writing on the wall with what New Japan really kind of wants to shift to Kevin Kelly, who is very good at calling New Japan shows, I think.
Yes.
And WWE doesn't really want to use Jim Ross, and it's just like kind of begrudgingly use Jim Ross in some respects. So I think, but Jim Ross is like, hey, I'm not dead. I'm not out of the game. I'm not retired. And so I think you would see him involved in this. And one of our favorite guys, I think the Bryce is right. I think he's going to be involved as a referee.
Yes, he is. And that Bryce Remsburg, if you're not familiar, is one of the greatest, if not the greatest referee on the independent scene now. I'm surprised NXT has not signed him already, from the way that he commands a match, the way that he works the crowd, the way that he as a referee, your best referee is somebody you don't want to see or notice, but what Bryce does as a referee just adds so much to a match, and it's no surprise that Bryce is going to be a part of that, because they recognize talent and they recognize that he should be a part of, he's earned the right to be there.
Word.
Absolutely. Hey, another guy that we didn't talk about, obviously a big part of the Elite, formerly the Bullet Club, the villain. Marty Scurll. I think he's still still under contract with ROH, I believe.
I don't know, man. Like, I thought his send off on the beginning of the Elite show was kind of cool. How he's like, all right, guys, I'll see you soon. And then I think I don't know if he put it on Instagram or where he put it, was like a picture of him. I mean, he does live in Florida. His girlfriend is in NXT. So,
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yes, I forgot about that.
And he's also fig hunting with Zach and Kurt too. So
yeah, and he was also hanging out with Adam Cole on New Year's Eve.
Sure.
So I don't know, man. I actually, of all those dudes, has the most potential to go to WWE, because I feel like he would be the final cog that they need to really kick NXT UK into full gear, because I think this weekend, is it next? Wait, when is Takeover next weekend?
I believe it's next weekend.
Yeah, so next weekend, I think
the UK Takeover.
Yeah, the UK Takeover. You're going to see Walter in the crowd, or he's going to do something at that show. So that's going to be the huge get, and I think Marty's the final big piece for them, because it's not going to be Ospreay, because Ospreay is like, he's going to be, New Japan's going to be pushing him hard. But I mean, I think he'll end up in All Elite, but I think of all those dudes, he's the most likely to end up in WWE. He fits the mold. He's got ties there. I mean, he's good friends with all the creative over in NXT UK. So like,
his act is tailor made, not just for NXT UK, but I believe he'd be a huge support to the NXT US tours.
Absolutely.
For how hard that he's been pushed in America with just his appearances on Ring of Honor, his appearances of being an Elite, that extra long match he had with Kazuchika Okada at All In. I mean, his whole act, his whole style, his gimmick, his entrance, his in-ring, everything about him is tailor-made for WWE. And I feel like, he'd be a special attraction on the NXT UK show, but his real value, I think, would be like a top draw on the touring NXT circuit until he goes to Raw or SmackDown.
And I think he will be offered a lot of money in March or the end of the year, whenever his contract is up. There is a lot of zeros that are going to be at the end of an offer from both sides.
Sure. He's got that sweet Black Craft contract merch deal to worry about too.
Oh yeah, he doesn't want to mess with that coffee.
All those evil devil worshiper Hot Topic shirts. People think of their rage these days. So he's in on it. The Jericho ones are so bad. And one last thing on Marty Scurll, the picture he posted of him by himself in the rocking chairs outside of Cracker Barrel.
That's the new sad Keanu.
Hilarious. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But what do you guys think of? I don't mean to take over your show, Bob.
No, go ahead.
Of course I haven't.
We've already taken it. This is how it's just been. It's just, hey, hanging out with Bob, and we're just yapping.
Bob's just like, I regret having both these guys on. Jericho? Like, did we really think? Did we talk about Jericho already? Like how, like, this whole thing is gonna reverberate through the wrestling world. Do you think this is the one thing that pisses it's a wrestling promotion, they're doing all in, whatever, and then Jericho.
He's got a belt in New Japan now. What? You know?
But it was in Japan. So, but now this is like, I'm going to be in the United States. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to change the universe. I mean, is that going to start the irritation towards WWE? Did they poke the bear when they didn't really need to?
Well, wasn't WWE in Jacksonville tonight for SmackDown as well?
Cross the street.
They're saying that was a complete coincidence, and that it just so happened to be that they were in town in where All Elite's headquartered, and it was the first chance they would have had to have this event after coming back from the Tokyo Dome. And they're all just trying to say it was serendipitous, but who knows? You're trying to
brother, this ain't a John Cusack movie. It ain't serendipity.
Wow.
Say that again, Bill. I'm sorry, I stepped on it.
I know, it was great.
I said this ain't no John Cusack movie. It ain't no serendipity.
Nice.
You can't tell me they didn't know that it was going to happen.
Oh, so. They did. They totally did.
And then, of course, a couple of rowdy folks in AEW merch tried to get into SmackDown, and they were like, "Nope, you can't come in. You're wearing the other guy's shirt. You can't come in. You're being jerks." And then they were like, "Oh, they wouldn't let me in." And then other people are like, "Yeah, because you were being a jerk. I just walked in, gave my ticket." They were like, "Here, enjoy the show." So that was the story coming out of this evening as well. But I don't know. I think it's going to work out well. I feel like, Jericho, if you listen to, I don't listen to his podcast all that often if he's got a good guest. Like, the last one I listened to was the one with Sami Zayn that came out a little while ago. Mm-hmm. And you can just hear it in Jericho's voice that he's like, "Yeah, so cool. I just fly in and I do what I want and I'm free and I get to make money and I can, when I pitch ideas, they listen and, it works and I don't have to fight." I mean, Jericho told us the greatest thing that happened on Raw in a long time was the Festival of Friendship and how it all ended in Vegas with the showgirls and the special playset, and everybody remembers when they saw that. And that almost never happened because Triple H was like, "No, I don't think we should do it," because Vince wasn't at Raw that day. And Jericho had to fight all day long to make that skit history happen. And he ended up winning and it worked out, but it's not worth it. Even rewind when Lesnar threw those extra sharp elbows at Randy's head and cracked him open hard way. Jericho,
good, deserved it, son of a bitch.
Was trying to blow up on Lesnar, and because Jericho don't care. He's true to the crew. He'll throw down Winnipeg style with whoever he needs to. So if Brock Lesnar's the guy, and he's like, "Well, if I can't get a match with Brock Lesnar, how much does this company see in me? And if I can't get that match here because that's the biggest match I could have, then I need to go have big matches elsewhere," which is exactly what he did with the Omega deal and then the Naito deal and then the All In stuff and everything he's got going on. Jericho knows he's a brand and he knows he can bring his people with him where he goes. So it's a great move and it makes a whole lot of sense.
His Hall of Fame speech is going to be great.
Oh, it's going to be excellent. And I kind of figured it was coming when they brought Pac out and they were trying to say, "Oh yeah, nothing's happening," and there were 3 minutes left. I was like, "Nah, there's something happening." I was like, "That's going to happen." And then they hit that money-making music. When you heard those first opening chords of that Fozzy riff drop in, you were like, "Oh, yeah, it's Fozzy time."
That's right. So, I guess basically, how big do you think AEW is going to be? Is this going to be a blip on WWE's radar? Is this going to be, people are talking about a possible, again, all speculation, possible future Monday Night Wars? Is this going to be legit competition? Is this going to be the new destination for people who have always dreamed of going to WWE? What do you guys think? Would this ultimately?
What do you think, Bob? Because we've barely heard from you on this podcast.
Oh wow! I think it's awesome that they're doing this. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I've met a lot of these people involved. They seem to have good heads on their shoulders. They seem to know what they're talking about. A lot of their agenda seems, I don't want to get political or anything, but it seems like they're trying to do right by a lot of people, a lot of good causes, as we had mentioned earlier, equal pay for women, stuff like that. The formula looks good. You got the veteran and Jericho. You have these up-and-coming indie stars. You're introducing this whole new federation from China. I think on paper it looks great. It's like with anything, it's how much work you put into it, what's going to happen. I can't say where it's going to go, but I think the future looks very bright. I'll say that.
What's cool is that because of the new WWE Fox deal, SmackDown is moving to Friday night. And All Elite knows this, and they trademarked in the number of things that they've trademarked when they hit All Elite Wrestling and AEW and all that stuff, was a phrase called Tuesday Night Dynamite. So, if they know SmackDown...
TNT on TNT?
Right,
shit.
Exactly. If you plug in the Turner connection on a Tuesday Night Dynamite on Tuesday, the same time that SmackDown moves to Friday, the wrestling audience is already trained to look for wrestling on Tuesday nights.
Brilliant.
And when they, look at Tuesday night, there's no wrestling? What do you mean there's no wrestling on Tuesday night? Oh, wait, isn't Cody and the Bucks doing this thing? Let me watch Tuesday Night Dynamite on TBS or on TNT or, whatever Turner station. I mean, I would love for that, say Tuesday Night Dynamite's their flagship. I would still, for old time's sake, love for them to do like a syndicated show at 6:05.
5 on Saturday, yeah, man.
That would be the coolest. Like a Saturday night, 6:05, have the whole big super montage, and then it ends with Cody laughing, like right in front of what would be the old WCW 80s platform that everybody's getting their Conrad Thompson meet and greet photos in front of these days. That would just be super cool for us older heads. I'm sure I'm showing my age, but hey, kids, this stuff was cool back then too, and it would be cool for all of us.
I think one thing I hope they don't do is the same mistake a lot of companies have made in the past is we're going to compete with WWE. And I think it's about they are going to compete in, no matter what, but if just we're going to be the next WWE, we're going to be number one. I think if their whole thing is about changing the wrestling industry and they do follow through on the healthcare stuff, they do follow through on the equal pay, and they have an initiative of men and women's matches are equal, and we're going to be this new discovery from around the world, combined with what they've done, innovative storytelling with what they've done with Being the Elite, which is basically a YouTube series has helped launch a company with $100 million of backing to it, which is insane, which sold out 11,000 seats in an arena in Chicago. I think combine all that and you're going to get a different experience. And what I liked about what they were saying, outside of what Jericho said, if you read what Tony Khan said, if you read what so many of the Bucks and Cody have said, the word family is used in there a lot, and they're really trying to make it you guys are in it with us, and this is a family business, and we're taking a lot of risk. Yeah, $100 million is one huge fucking safety net, but still, it's a huge risk for them because they easily could have gone to WWE, made a boatload of cash, and been fine. But I think they're passionate enough about blazing their own path to make it happen. I think my more concern is I think All Elite's going to do pretty well is what's going to happen with these other companies that are out there. What's going to happen with the MLWs and the Impacts and the Ring of Honors and the Indies. I think the Indies will always be okay, because I feel people are smart we have to, hey, there's a ton of female talent out there, so we're not where's all the dudes? But I see a company like Ring of Honor, especially if AEW goes to TNT, Ring of Honor is shot. I mean, Sinclair doesn't have anything to compare to TNT. And then, Major League Wrestling, I think, is a great company, and they've got some really key talent. What will happen with them? But they have international TV deals too, so it's going to be a very interesting time. And they said, we want a golden age of wrestling, and I think that only is going to make WWE better, because WWE is always better when they have competition. They've been without competition, legit competition, for 20 years. I don't care if TNA went to Monday nights for a cup of coffee. That was never competition for them.
Very well said. Really, really good stuff, guys. There's one thing that I definitely know. You can definitely follow our AEW coverage on thepopbreak.com. That's all I got to say about that.
Goddamn right, son. Goddamn right. We're gonna be cashing necks and cashing necks. You know, we're gonna be cashing necks. Stopping there. Full stop.
I'm gonna cash that neck right. I'm gonna cash that neck right now.
Oh.
Cashing necks in April at the Garden.
Oh yeah. I'm really hoping one day that Puma King will go to there, so certain journalists will know who he is, and I hope Teddy Hart goes to all elite, and he just tells everyone how much he loves them. And Nick Gage, too.
God bless.
Yes.
I love all you motherfuckers. MDK, gang affiliate. Anyway, it's just like the ridiculousness of it. But I think it's, no matter what, at the end of the day, it's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome for wrestling fans because we're going to see way more wrestling, and we're going to go back to it. We're moving to a time where we legit could have, Monday Night Raw, AEW on Tuesdays,
Tuesday Night Dynamite.
And then you're going to have MLW, you're going to have Impact, and you're going to have all the other WWE shows like NXT UK, 205 Live, SmackDown, New Japan. You're going to have pretty much 7 nights a week of wrestling. We're going back to 1998 to 2000 of 7 nights a week of wrestling, plus all your streaming services. I'm basically going to stop watching any other content at that point, but it's besides wrestling, and it's going to be awesome for wrestling fans.
There's just too much great stuff out there to watch stuff that's just pretty good. Like, there's stuff that's pretty good. Okay, cool, that's good. But there's just, so much great stuff to watch. And that's your indiewrestling.tv to see, beyond companies like Beyond Wrestling, where you're going to see the future stuff. High Spot Streaming Network has got all the Defy shows. Their current champion is a guy named Artemis Spencer. Definitely worth checking out.
You are, as the kids would say, you're a stan for him.
There's a dude, the other dude I'm standing for who I saw on the same show is a guy from Vancouver named Daniel Makabe, who I saw in a 3-2-1 battle show, which is Solid Steel, local independent fed out of Seattle, Washington. Kind of weirder, wackier, like a warped Chikara on meth, kind of.
Nice.
Whereas Defy out there is more like the PWG. So it's more serious, hardcore, current entertainment stuff, but some people work both companies. Danny McCabe is from Vancouver, blowing up in the States. He's doing shows for Black Label. He's going to be at the Collective WrestleMania weekend for, I believe it's Interspecies Wrestling. And, kids, if all these words that I'm saying don't make any sense to you because you just know WWE and NXT and 205 Live, check out any one of these. You don't have to check out all of them. Just check out Beyond Wrestling or Chikara or Absolute Intense Wrestling out of Cleveland. You'll find something you'll want to see, and you'll find tons of wrestlers that you'll be like, oh man, this guy's great. How come he's not on TV? Oh, Ophidian, this guy is awesome. How come he's not getting paid, millions of dollars on the AEW wrestling? There are so many people out there to keep the great sport of professional wrestling vibrant and alive and fun and enjoyable. And if you're watching something you don't like, turn it off and turn on something you will like because it's out there.
Also, just breaking from someone reported this. I think it might have been Jon Alba or was it John Pollock was saying that. Oh no, sorry, it was Sean Ross from Fightful was saying that Cody said that Janela is still going to do spring break.
Right.
And Jericho's still going to do his cruise. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this independent stuff is going to be weaved in because, hey, give WWE credit. They're sending guys to Progress. They're sending guys to WXW. They're sending guys to Evolve. And this is corporate wrestling is starting to come back, but we're in the Wild West right now. This is the Wild West of pro wrestling. We're talking, we haven't seen this since, national expansion of WWF, you know what I mean? Where it's just wild, where dudes are coming in from territories and out of territories and working special shows and shit. It's bonkers the Bobcat right now is what I'm saying.
It's crazy.
And you can take that to the bank, Jack.
That's right. Hey, gentlemen, thank you for a few minutes. I think the overall vibe here is we're all just excited about it. We're excited to see what happens. And in any case, we get more wrestling. Can't beat that. I'll see you guys hopefully at NXT. Hopefully I'll see you guys at Mania. We got some big stuff coming up on the show. We got our Royal Rumble predictions coming up. I'm super excited. Gentlemen, real quick before we get out of here, tell us where we can find you on Twitter, on the Pop Break. Little shameless plugs here, please.
Ooh, that's all you.
So, my name is Kenny. You can follow me at Twitter at Kenny P Drums with a Z, or you could follow my wacky lucha rock band at The Mystery Men, which is where I usually dole out all my pro wrestling action. So, get in on that.
Lucha and a drummer. I like this guy. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, lucharock.bandcamp.com. Get with it.
Fellow drummer.
MVP is a big fan of his band.
Nice.
True story. So I'm the editor-in-chief of thepopbreak.com. You can follow us on Twitter at popbreak.com, all spelled out, /popbreak.com, all spelled out on Facebook, IG at thepopbreak.com, at popbreak. No. IG at the Pop Break. We will be posting a random concert we just shot, first of the year. Ashley Simpson and Evan Ross from that show. 2019 is going to be a wild year. And of course, if you just want to hear me talk about wrestling, I am at Bodkin Rice. And Bob, thanks for letting me, Kenny, basically just ramble our asses off while you just kind of sit here and go,
Hey.
When are these guys going to shut up?
Hey, no.
Thanks, Bob. Anytime you got a sore throat or you got something, you're crunch for content or whatever, give us a shout and you'll just work back and forth and take it easy and ease up the vocal cords.
No,
when you need a week off, give us a call.
We'll put you over, brother. We're protecting the business every day of the week.
That's right.
Thank you enough, Bob. Thank you.
That's the perfect way to describe it. And you know what? You guys are like my second podcast today. So you guys carry me. As always, you guys carry me. I appreciate it, and you guys are good brothers. You know that.
Yeah, man, listen, we work light as a feather, and listen, if it doesn't come in an envelope and I can't snort shit through it, I don't want to be paid with it, which is a Luke Gallows joke that only a few people will get.
All right. Good stuff, gentlemen. Thanks for coming on. We'll have you back anytime, and we are out. Peace.
Peace.